Hi, good evening everyone. Today we will start with Python. In our previous sessions, we were going through basics of computer hardware, different types of programming language, assembly language, machine level language, high level language, low level language, bits, byte, all those concepts, compiler, interpreter, translator. And today we'll get into actual coding. For the purpose of programming in Python, I'm going to make use of Jupyter Notebook. Step 1, I'll help you how to launch Jupyter Notebook. I'm sure you have already installed Anaconda. So what we'll do is we will be seeing how to go about launching the Jupyter Notebook. We need to, on the search prompt, type Anaconda prompt. So basically the moment I type Anaconda, automatically it shows me Anaconda prompt. Okay, I'll repeat. I press the flag key on my keyboard, and here in search I type Anaconda. Automatically the Anaconda prompt comes up. I say open it. This opens up the Anaconda prompt. Just like we have a command prompt, DOS prompt, that is in Windows operating system, we have Anaconda prompt for Anaconda application, and from here I will open my Jupyter Notebook. What I would request you people is, in your machines, for the sake of this training, first create a folder. Create a folder. For example, I'll come here and I'll go to my Windows Explorer, and then I'll say in D colon, I'll go to D colon, go to your Windows Explorer, and then say create a new folder, training. I would want you to create a folder saying training, something by which you can relate your entire exercises of Python training, which you will be able to relate. In my case, I'll go to a specific folder. In your case, you may have to go to the training folder. So here I'll go to D drive by saying D colon. In case you do not have D drive, you only have one drive, C drive, then create the folder in your C folder. Then move to that folder. For example, I want to move to the training folder. The command is change directory. CD is change directory. D colon backslash. Where is the folder? Training is the folder. So this way I can navigate on the prompt. The reason why I want you to do is, so all our content will be saved in that specific folder only. The folder from which you are going to launch Jupyter Notebook. In your case, if you have created a training folder, then what you should do is you should type Jupyter Notebook and press enter. I am not going to press enter because I'm not going to run my code from this folder. I'll go back to D drive by typing okay, to go back one level. The command to go back one level is cd dot dot. So I can go back one level, cd dot dot. What I'll do is I'll go to my specific folder. In K2 Analytics, I've got a folder K2 Analytics. In that, I've got a folder Python. In that Python, I've got a folder Python programming. So I'll navigate myself to that folder. Okay. All the syntaxes are there on your screen. What we did is we went to Windows Explorer. In a given folder, D drive is what I suggest. But in case you have D drive, don't have, then C drive. In that drive, go create a folder. So after having created the folder, we go to D drive. This is the syntax. D colon. It will now take you, the prompt will change to D drive prompt. Then here we say cd D colon backslash training. So I'm now going to training folder, and from there you have to type on training folder. Once you are in training folder, you have to type Jupyter notebook. In my case, I am not executing Jupyter notebook from training folder because my training content which I have done, I have got a specific folder Python programming where everything is there. So in my case, I am navigating to this folder, and from here I'm launching Jupyter notebook. Enter. The moment I press enter, the Anaconda software is now going to start up its Jupyter notebook interface for programming purpose. Oh, sorry, my enter key it did not take. I pressed enter now. So the code is the software Anaconda will now launch the Jupyter notebook interface. So this kind of thing, something of this kind should run on your machine, and this gives you a link. If you copy paste this link on your browser, by default it will execute this link and launch the Jupyter notebook homepage on your screen, something like this. Okay, this is by default, it will launch up. Yeah, in case it does not open the browser screen automatically, in that case you may copy this. Basically the way to copy in a command prompt is you should select, after selecting, right click. Once you right click, it is copied, and then you can come here and paste it. This will launch the same page, home page, which we have already launched. In my case, because the folder from where I had launched Jupyter notebook already has many files and folders. That's why when the home page is launched, it shows those files and folders which are present in that folder. In your case, if you have just created a training folder, which is an empty new folder, and from there you are launching Jupyter notebook, you will have a clean slate. There will be nothing which will show up. It will be empty in this part. This part will be completely, where my mouse is hovering, this part will be completely empty for you. Okay, kindly launch Jupyter notebook and confirm back on the chat box. Once you have launched your Jupyter notebook, probably in all possibility you will have empty folders here. Nothing will be shown here. What you need to do is you need to click here on new. Let me close these unwanted icons. You click here new and say Python 3. You will have something Python 3 here. It says, if you see, you hover the mouse on top of it, it says create a new notebook with Python 3. Okay. The reason why we are working with Jupyter notebook is because it provides an easy to use interface for learning Python, and it is also one of the most popularly used interface for programming in Python. The extension of these file which we create in Jupyter notebook is .ipynb. I for internet, py Python, nb notebook. So it's a file which opens in your browser. So that's why the extension is ipynb. Now this untitled is by default the name given to a new file. So what I'll do is I'll just click here. The moment I click here, you see it says give a new name to this notebook. I'm sure you are able to follow me, and I'll give some name, my first Python notebook. Okay, I just give some name, any name you may give. and I'll say rename. So that Untitled has become my first Python notebook. That's my name which I have given to this file. This cell is where we do the coding. Let me make this full screen. I'm pressing F11. Now I have come in full screen mode. So this part is where I actually do the coding. This is an editable cell. So as it is customary that whenever we meet someone, we greet the person by saying hello. Similarly, in programming, it's customary to write something hello world. Hello world, because it is a string, I need to write it in double quote. Okay, here I have written this in double quote. How do I execute this? To execute this, you have to press Shift Enter. Shift and Enter key together. Press the Shift key and then press Enter. The code is executed. The another customary statement whenever you get started with programming is welcome to Python, or welcome to the world of Python. So what we did, Shift Enter. Once again, to execute code, I pressed Shift Enter. We just started writing some code. Please note, I'm writing code with double quote and it is showing the output in single quote. Let me change this. I'll make it single quote. Whenever you write a character string, either you can use double quote or you can use single quote. So I am changing this. Here once it is executed, it says execution 1. This is second execution. Now I am running this code once again. Shift Enter. This is my third execution. So we just started getting used to the Jupyter notebook environment. Try out these things. We will first get familiar with this interface. Okay. Comment. Whenever we do programming, we have an option to write something which is a comment. Comment is basically a explanatory statement. Whenever you have to write a comment, you typically use hash in Python, and after hash, whatever you will type is actually a comment. Comment is used for describing / explaining the code. Comments are used to make the person reading the code, it's not reading, basically person trying to make it easy. Comments are used to make it easy for the person interpreting code of others interpreting the code written by others, by someone else. Something. These are objectives of comment. Comments are written for self-understanding. If you revisit the code after a long time. I have written a code a year back. Comments are used for documentation purpose. So there are many reasons why we use purpose. But what I'm trying to explain is hash, and after hash, whatever you do is going to be comment. So all these statements you did not write. These are all the purpose for which we use a comment. So let us now start understanding Jupyter Notebook. A equal to 10. A is variable. 10 is value assigned to it. Equal to is assignment operator. To execute this code, I need to press Shift plus Enter. Shift Enter, my code is executed. So here I have written a code. A is equal to 10. That is a statement. A is a variable. 10 is the value assigned to it. Equal to is assignment operator. And to help you people understand, I'm saying Shift Enter is what has to be pressed to execute the code. So here, as I speak and as I write my code, I'm also equally documenting it for ease of your understanding. So when you come through this video recording later on, you can easily understand what is happening. B equal to 20. Other way of running this code is to press Control plus Enter. Note the difference in this execution as compared to Shift plus Enter. This time I'm going to execute the code by pressing Control Enter. When I execute the code by Control Enter, the code is executed. If you see, it says 6. It has increased. The counter has increased. However, I have not got a new cell below this executed cell. That is the difference between executing a code using Control Enter and Shift Enter. Now, what you have to note, I press Escape key on my keyboard. The moment I press Escape key, this cell turns blue. If you see the left hand side, it is blue. I press Enter key, the cursor where it was last, it starts blinking. This is where my cursor was last. In this cell, it starts blinking and the cell turns green. Let me move the cursor somewhere here, b equal to 20. Now cursor is blinking here. Once again, I press escape key. The cell turns blue. I press enter key. The cell turns green. Escape, blue, enter, green. I will now come into escape mode. Press escape key. You will see the cell border turns blue. Press enter key. You will see the cell border turns green. I am now going to press escape key and press alphabet A on my keyboard. The cell is blue in color. I press alphabet A. A new cell has got inserted above this row. I come back to cell 6 by pressing my mouse arrow key up and down. When my cell is in blue, I press my mouse keys up and down to navigate through these cells. I am once again here on the cell 6. This time, and it is blue in color, I press the character B on my keyboard. A new cell gets introduced below. When the cell is blue in color, it is called command mode. When the cell is green in color, it is called edit mode. When in command mode, press key A to insert a cell above the given focus cell. Press key B to insert a cell below the given focus cell. So this is how you go about using the Jupyter notebook. I am back in this empty cell. I press escape. I go to command mode. I want to know what all possible shortcuts are there. I press character H. It opens a help. The various shortcuts which we have in Jupyter notebook, a help of those shortcuts comes up. Here in the beginning, you see command mode shortcuts are there, and it says press escape to enable command mode, and then edit mode shortcuts are there. It says press enter to enable edit mode shortcuts. Okay, to see that you need to press enter to enter into edit mode, and the shortcuts of that is shown here. Now let's see some shortcuts which we frequently use. A is to insert a cell above, B is to insert a cell below, X is to cut the selected cell, C is to copy a selected cell, Shift V is to paste the cell above, V is to paste the cell below, Z is to undo deletion, and D is to delete the cell. So cut, copy, paste, delete is something that we will be frequently doing. So let's just frequently some of these things that we may do. Let's see that. We will cut, copy, paste, delete this cell. I have typed here. Now what I do is escape. I'm in command mode. I press C character. It has got copied. I press V. It got pasted. Okay. I press D. It gets, D is for delete. Why it did not delete? Okay, it did not delete. Let me just see help once again. Help.
Sir, you have to do it 1-2 times, then it deletes.
Okay, D comma D. It says D comma D is delete. So two D's has to be pressed together. So I'll come back. DD. So I press the D character twice. Okay. So it will delete that cell. So once again I come here. This time I say X. I cut it, and I come here on cell 7 and I press V. It inserts it below. I go back to cell 7 and this time I say Shift V. It makes a copy of that above also. So you can see the various shortcuts. A is insert a cell above, B is insert a cell below, C is to copy, we have DD for delete, X is for cut, V is for paste, and Z in case you have deleted something, you want to undo it, we press Z. So I press Z. This deletion has got undone. Okay. These are certain shortcuts which you have to remember. And the other two shortcuts that you have to remember specifically when we are in edit mode is Shift Enter and Control Enter. This is how we work on Jupyter Notebook. As we keep working on Jupyter Notebook, we'll learn more of the shortcuts and some shortcuts which will be very frequently used depending upon as we start coding. I'll introduce them. At this point of time, enough detailing of how to work with Jupyter Notebook has been done, by which you should be comfortable on Jupyter Notebook. We now get into Python programming. I can now close this file from at my end, and I'll now launch basically my prepared code files. It is in this PyScript folders. Okay. Okay, so let's get started with Python concepts. We'll start with basics, numbers, strings, booleans. Then we'll get into the concept of object, data structures and so forth. So first thing, basic data types of Python. And the basic data types in any programming language are number, string, Boolean. These are fundamental data types. Any programming you go, these are your basic fundamental data types you will always come across. Okay. Numbers. Number can be an integer number, it can be a floating point number, or it can be complex number. Strings is strings, and Booleans, as we already learned in our basics of computer programming, truth table, Boolean can take value true or false. Let's get started with numbers. These are all documentation which is not part of your course syllabus, so I'm not getting into details how to do all these documentation. But yeah, one basic essential while you're working in Jupyter Notebook is very much important, which I missed. So I'll open back that file, which I just created, my first Python notebook. I'm sure it is all open for you. One basic important thing which we will frequently do, something called as markup. Okay, markups are given in Jupyter Notebook for decorative documentation is what I may use. Comment is already there for documentation, but for more decorative documentation you have something called markup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this in command mode. I come to command mode. Having come to command mode, I'll press my key M. The moment I press key M, you will see this word code. This word code in the drop down, there are 4 options. This word code will get turned to markdown. So here you see this drop down changes to markdown. So here you see this is it has to be written. I wrote markup. I wanted to write markdown. Markdowns. Basically these are for documentations. Okay. So markdown for documentation. Now here what you do is you press hash, and after hash these are levels. If you see, as I type 3 hash, the font size reduces. So markdowns gives you 6 levels of fonts. I press shift enter, and you see the text level and 1, level 2, level 3, it is coming with different font size. The reason is I have typed 1 hash. After hash you need to have a space. 2 hash, 3 hash, 4 hash, 5 hash, 6 hash. So there are 6 levels. Okay. Once again, what you have to understand is, here I come here, it is in escape mode. On escape mode I made press M. Basically it becomes markdown. That means in this cell I'm not going to write code, I'm going to do some documentation. That is another important thing. The reason why I explain markdown is, when I run this Jupyter Notebook on my screen, you will keep seeing that, okay, hey, there is good amount of these descriptive elements which are coming up. These are some programming by markdowns, which is not part of Jupyter, which is not part of Python syntax. So at this point of time, you don't have to bother. But for my explanation and nice way of documenting things on my screen, where I have my logo and other things coming up, I have done all of those markdown things. Okay, so don't bother much about markdowns. It is not part of your syllabus. You have to bother more about code. So here we are going to discuss about numbers. Now when I write a equal to 1, what I'm doing is I'm declaring a variable a, which is in small case, assigning it a value 1, which is a numeric integer value. When I write b equal to 2.0, I am assigning b a value 2, and the decimal dot 0 is saying that it is a floating point. We call it floating point. Okay, the other terminology often used is decimal. Okay, anyways, we follow decimal numeric system, but here from programming standpoint, anything which has got this dot and then the value, we call it float, or we also call it decimal. Then we have c is equal to 1j, and it is called complex number. Probably complex numbers may have come in your syllabus or may not have come in your syllabus. However, complex numbers are numbers, for example, what is square root of -1? There's no, we
An
cannot calculate
imaginary number.
square root of -1. Has it come in your syllabus?
No, but then in before class, our teacher just told that such numbers are imaginary numbers.
Yes. So square root of -1 are basically imaginary numbers. Okay. Those are like complex numbers. And second is, we have, when we do in science, when we talk about directions. Okay, when we talk about in science, we have directions. We typically use I, J, K notations. Okay, imaginary numbers like square root of -1 are called complex numbers. Okay, so at this point of time, J, you can say, is square root of -1, 1 square root of -1, or basically if I have to write square root of -1, I will not be able to compute it. So we just simply represent it by terminology I, J, or K. Okay, these are some terminologies. Most often I or J is used. I is in X direction, J is used in Y direction. Okay, so this is a complex number. Now a equal to 1 is a statement. A is a variable, 1 is a value assigned to it. B equal to 2.0, B is a variable, 2.0 is the value. C equal to 1j, C is a variable, 1j is the value. These three statements, if I want to see what is the type of these variables, we use something called print. Okay, we use something called print. I need not use the print also. For the time being, for ease, I'm going to run this much code only. If I run this much code only, what is happening is, you are just assigning the value 1 to A, you are assigning the value 2.0 to B, you are assigning the value 1j to C. So three variables has got created, A, B, C. In case I want to see the value of A, what I need to do, I just type A and shift enter. It is going to say what is the value of A. In case I want to see the value of B, I just type B and C 1j. Okay, so just run this much piece of code. I want to see what type of variable A is, what type of variable B is. Okay, what I can do is I can comment all of this. Let me first comment all of this. a very shortcut way of commenting is in Jupyter Notebook, you select all the lines which you want to comment, control slash. Okay, control and forward slash. Anyways, if you don't understand at this point of time, it's okay. We first come to a function, say type. I'm below code, the print, these prints will not get executed because they are commented. Now I'm saying type A. Type is a function which will tell you A is of what type of object. When I say type A, it says me type is of int. If I say type B, it will say type B is float. And if I say type C, it will say it is complex. If I write all these type A, B, C, one after another,
How to run the code without going to a new line? Control enter.
shift enter, control enter, yeah. Control enter is a shortcut to run code without introducing or without moving to the next cell. So when I run this control enter and I have written type A, type B, type C. However, you note I only get to see complex. Reason is in Jupyter Notebook, if you have multiple code which is supposed to show you the output on the screen, the last code will come and only it will show. In case you want all the output to be seen, you have to run the code as print statement. So here when I'll run this code, something like this, print type of A, print type of B, print type of C. Print is a function, and as the name suggests, the function will print whatever value is given to it. So when I run the code like this, control enter, you see it gave me the output of print, it gave me output of this print, it gave me output of this print, and it gave me output of this print also. It did not give me output of only the last print. It gave me output of all the print. Okay. So most of the time, whenever we want to show something on our screen, what is the value of a variable or what is the type of that variable, anything, we will typically use the print statement. Because multiple prints, if you are writing, all the output of those print will come on your screen. In case you don't write as print, for example, the other way of writing this, for example, if I would have written something like this, I'm inserting a cell above. If I would have say A, B, and C, it just give me the value of C. But if I would have written the same thing, something like this, print A, print B, print C, it shows me all the three values. This is just a difference between just typing variable A, B, C and trying to get the output, and instead writing print A, B, C and getting all the output. So cells 1, 11, 9, which is there on the screen, or probably I'll make this code execution once again from now top. Cell 12, 13, 14 execution. Just try all of that and confirm back on the chat box. We now see strings. How you declare strings? You declare string by putting it between a single quote, or you put it in double quote. Now there is one more approach. In case you have a string which is long, very long, and you are writing it in multiple lines. So far we already saw in our introduction, hello world, welcome to the world of Python. where we had the string written as a single quote, or we had a string written in double quote. In case you have a string which is written in multiple lines, it is para. For example, here the string is written, I chose a lazy person to do a hard job, and then I have pressed enter key. There's an enter key and there's a new line. If your string is running on multiple lines, you will have to enclose your string in 3 double quote, starting and ending 3 double quote, or 3 single quote starting and 3 single quote ending. So this is how you typically write. So if I run this code, this is, I'll just comment it. I'll comment this, and I'll move this Control X and move it in above cell. Okay, if I run this is the output, or if I run this is the output. The output for both of them is same. Note here, there is something called \n. This \n has come after this job. The reason why this \n has come here, because after this job there is a space and then there is an enter mark. I'll remove this space also. There is an empty space which was there. I'll rerun this. And here also there is a space. I'll remove this space also. Unwanted space is there. Yeah, I'll run this. Now, can you see this? After this job there is a \n. See, enter key you cannot show. It's something which is not visible. But if you have pressed an enter key, if you want to show that, hey, in this text this was something that you wrote, after that you had pressed an enter key and then you wrote something and then you pressed an enter key, the programmatic way of showing enter is \n. Okay, so I'll just do a commentary here below. \n is programming way of depicting new line. That is a enter. That is enter key press. Backslash, at this point of time, it may be too heavy for you to understand, but still just note it down. Backslash in programming is used for escape sequence. Do not try to understand what is escape sequence at this point of time. There are certain things which are advanced which will come later. At this point of time, this much is sufficient for you to understand. Okay, so try out line 17 and 18. Now we'll just see some basic string manipulation. I am now declaring a variable a equal to string manipulation. Initially I declared a equal to 1. At that point of time, when I declared a equal to 1, it was int. Now I am saying a equal to string manipulation. So I executed this cell, and below this let me also type a. This time it will say str for string. So basically here what you have to note is, in Python we do not explicitly say whether a variable is type integer or whether a variable is type string. Unlike other programming language like Java and C++, where you have to declare a variable and its data type, in Python you do not explicitly declare the data type. In Python, the Python automatically understands the data type of the variable based on the value it is assigned. If you are assigning a string value, the data type will become string. If you are assigning integer value, the variable will automatically become of type int. So in Python programming, we do not have explicit variable data type declaration. Okay. Now here we have declared variable a and assigned it a value string manipulation. If I say a rectangular bracket 0, what I am saying is for the string value assigned to a, I want the value at 0th index. Please understand, in Python, indexing starts from 0. So if you type a rectangular bracket 0, what we are saying is I want the value which is index position 0. Okay, quickly, this is the string. I want you to write the syntax just like I wrote A0. I got S, that is the first character. What should be the number which I should have? What should be the number to get the character G? Let me know. Try it out and send it on the chat box. What should be the character that we should have? What should be the number, index number, so that it will display the character G? So the answer is 5. If I say A5, it will show the character G. In case I want the character N, what should be the thing I should be typing here in this rectangular bracket? Which number I should type?
It 18.
It should be 18.
In my it's showing error.
Because you do not have 18 characters in your text. If it is showing a error, here if you see, I have underscore.
No, sir, in the first one only for A5, it is showing an error.
Okay, share your screen. The reason why you are getting error is because in the variable x equal to string underscore manipulation, you did not execute the cell where you wrote that syntax. If you see, the cell does not have a cell number. You just wrote the code but did not execute. Okay, I hope this solves your problem. I'm taking the screen control back. Now here n equal to a18, I get a18 will give me n. Is there an easy way I could have done? I could have said -1. If I start things from behind, this is -1. Then this becomes -2.
Sir, from behind it should be 0.
No.
Okay, fine, -1.
From behind it starts with -1. So -1, -2, -3, like this it will go. Okay. So we can have the indexing from forward. Indexing starts with 0. From behind, the indexing starts with -1. Okay. So we now move forward. If I would have written the syntax something like this, a rectangular bracket 0 colon. Now in this case, when I say 0 colon, 0 means start index is 0. Colon means after the start index, whatever comes up, you have to show that. So here, if I write it like this, 0 colon, entire text will come because I have started from 0th position. In case I write something like :4, which means you start from the starting position but end it at the index position 4. Now please understand, when we say start from starting position, end at index position 4, the end index number is not inclusive, which means it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3 and stop at 3. It will not consider 4 because end index number in Python is not inclusive. So if I run this, it will show me the initial 4 characters, which is stri. S is at 0th index position, T is at 1st index position, R is at 2nd index position, I is at 3rd index position, N is at 4th index position. My syntax was a rectangular bracket :4, but end index is not inclusive, so it will not show N. And the other way of writing the syntax can be a 0:4, start index is what I have given, end index is also what I have given. I could have written something like this also, 4:9. In that case, my start index is 4th and end index is 9th. So whatever is starting from 4th, ending up to, but not inclusive of 9th index position, it will show. So here you see, it shows 4th index is N, 5th is G, 6th is underscore, 7th is M, 8 is A, but 9th is not inclusive. So how do we refer the characters by start index, end index? This is how we do. So just ensure you have executed cell 21, 22, 25, 26, 27 and 28 and you have understood. The 3 important basic data types is what I'm covering today. Boolean.
Sir, one thing.
Yeah. Can you explain the problem statement once again?
First, I assigned value A here as 20. Then when we were doing for string manipulation, by mistakenly, I assigned this also as A.
Yeah, A equal to string manipulation.
So then, so an error came. I went up and I saw. So then I changed the.
No, but A equal to
then
string manipulation,
then first,
there would not be any error. A equal to string manipulation will work.
Yeah, then I came here and I run this code.
And it shows print
so string manipulation came here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now then I assigned this as X.
Yeah.
Then I came back and I run this code.
Which
So
code?
still it is showing string
Which code?
manipulation.
Cell
This one.
8. Cell 8.
This
Are you saying cell 8 you
print
executed?
A, print B and T.
Cell 48. Cell 48. Can you go to cell
Yeah,
48?
cell 8.
Yes, cell 48.
Yeah, cell 48.
Now please understand.
Yes.
Please understand, Kunal. If you delete all of these cells, whatever cells are there, now what you do is press escape key. Press escape key. Now just press X, 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 continuously press X, 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 everything will get deleted. Press character X, X, continue pressing X. All the cells that are there on your this thing, gone. Okay, now you will say, okay, I did not declare, now press B to insert one empty row, empty cell. Press B. Now you will say, I created a variable X equal to string manipulation. I have deleted that. Now type here X, only type X and shift enter. It is still showing me string manipulation. Please understand, this is your editor. Jupyter Notebook is your editor. Each syntax that you type, and when you press shift enter, the basically the Python interpreter which is running in the background, that we call as kernel. Okay, there is a kernel. Where is that kernel running? Can you go to your Anaconda prompt? There was an Anaconda. Everything, this Jupyter Notebook here, this Anaconda prompt, it is running things. So whatever you are running and whatever variable you are declaring, all of that is getting registered in your Python kernel. Are you getting? Now when you come here back to your Jupyter Notebook interface is just to write some code. Whatever code you have written and executed, all the variable has got created in the Python workspace, the memory, the memory, right? We understood cache, primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory is your RAM. Everything is executed in that RAM and it is stored there. So variable X is there. When you say X, it will display the value from there. Okay. So don't consider what you are written here is the value which is visible here. Those are the value assigned to it. If I now write here A equal to 100, execute it and then delete it, A value will become 100 because I executed the code. Okay. Now what you do is press.
So then if I want to assign A here, I'll have to execute this first.
Yes, whenever you want to change the value, you have to execute that. Now if you see A, it will say it is an integer. And if you want to show the value, it will show A is 10, 20. Run A, enter A. No, type will show your data type. It will show integer. Shift enter, press shift enter. And now just type A, enter. A and shift enter.
Okay.
Okay. Now what you do is escape, press escape.
Understood, sir.
Press escape key. Now press Z, 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 Z. All the deletions are come back. Z, Z, Z. So all the deletions have come back. Okay. I'm taking the screen share back.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay. Finally, Booleans. Very simple. Booleans true. We write capital T and all characters small. It is a keyword. Please remember, Boolean is a keyword. Boolean, true is an internally defined keyword in Python. Okay, so you should not declare a variable. You should not declare a variable saying true equal to. You should not do something like this. True equal to yes. Can you see the message? What is the error? Can't assign to keyword because true is a keyword. You cannot you cannot means variable cannot have keyword as the variable name. So you cannot declare a variable where the name of that variable is a keyword. Okay, so we cannot create something like this. Then false. False is again a keyword. What it indicates? False. Now there are functions. There are two functions. Bool. If I say bool 1, bool 1, bool is a function and you are putting a value. In programming, we use numeric value 1 to denote true. In programming, we typically use numeric value 1 to denote true and numeric value 2 and numeric value 0 to denote false. Note, any number other than 0 will return true. So here when I run bool 1, it will return true. When I run bool 0, it will return false. And if I write bool -1, -2, -100, any number, it will still return true because any number other than 0 is in programming an indicator of true. Okay, so run the slides cells from 29 to 34. Execute that.
Yes, sir.
With this, okay, just before we end up our session, kindly save your Jupyter notebook file. Here you will see the save icon, save and checkpoint. Press the save. By default, the Jupyter notebook keeps doing checkpointing after every few seconds. So the file continuously keeps getting saved automatically. However, you may just press the icon save in case you want to ensure that everything is saved properly. With this, we end up today's session on Python, where we have learned the basic data types, numbers, strings, and booleans. In our upcoming session, we will see that everything in Python is an object, and we'll get introduced to data structures of list, dictionary, tuple, sets, and what is mutable, immutable object. Till then, thank you. Bye bye. See you in the upcoming session. Bye.